Hello and welcome to the Underhive. We are back with more How to Command the Death Guard since Warzone Nephilim. In this series, we're going to take a look at every aspect of the Death Guard, so whether you're looking to get more out of your army or you're thinking of poking around in Nurgle's slimy sample jars, then there's something here for you. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the second Plague Company specific rules, the Inexorable. Now, these are my personal favourite Plague Company, so I will have a certain bias towards them, and I'm willing to accept that. It's not to say that I think they are the best Plague Company, but they suit my playstyle the best. So I tend to run Inexorable, although they're not necessarily the best pick against an all-comers list. But either way around, let's jump in and take a look at what the second Plague Company have to offer. Starting out with the Stratagem available to the Inexorable, Ferret Miasma. Use this stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. When an Inexorable unit from your army is selected as the target of a charge, bear in mind, when your opponent is going to charge one of your units, you have a bit of prior notice. They've either been moving units up the board towards them that are a melee unit, or at least have some kind of melee propensity, or they've just teleport struck in 9 inches or just over 9 inches away and are looking to make a 9-inch charge into an objective to wipe out your poxwalkers or whatever it might be. So there is a little bit of prior warning that you're going to have this stratagem come up. And again, a good sport would inform their opponent, by the way, if you go for that charge, I am going to use this. So you can at least be sporting and allow your opponent a chance to make an alternative play. But in a lot of cases, they'll have already made the decision that you wouldn't necessarily have pre-warned them for because you didn't necessarily know it was for a charge at that point. But certainly when they're striking in, you might want to warn them just like you would if it was Auspex scan for Marines. If you put them there, I can shoot them, by the way. It's a nice thing to do, and I'd encourage you to do that because that's conducive to a friendly game. So either way, when your unit is selected as a target of a charge, until the end of the phase, subtract 2 from charge rolls made for any unit that declares a charge against that Inexorable unit. So you're not debuffing an enemy unit, you are effectively debuffing anything that targets your selected unit, which is way more powerful in my opinion. So of course, they could have struck in on a wide objective, you've got a squad of poxwalkers on it, they're just over 9 inches away, they need a 9-inch charge. This makes it an 11. Even for something like Vanguard Vets striking in for Black Templars, they can re-roll their charges, fair enough, but they're not likely to be getting any like +2 to charge buffs from a chaplain out in the middle of nowhere, though they could be. But even so, adding 2 to the charge just makes it so much more unlikely for them to make it in. And if they fail that charge, they're not attacking the unit on that objective this turn, and instead they'll be passing the initiative over to you next, and you could move off the objective whilst still owning it and attack them in melee first. So it's multifaceted in the way that it benefits you, whether it's out on an objective or whether it's the mainline engagement. Ultimately, they might make it in with 1 or 2 of the units they were looking to charge the main line with, but if they were planning to come in with 3, 4, 5, and most of those fail, they're going to be up against far more units on your side than they've brought to the party, in most cases, in that scenario. So all round, fantastic stratagem, 1 CP, you just cannot argue with that. Next up, we've got the Warlord trait, Ferret Blight. I love this as a Contagion Warlord trait. Probably less effective now that Plague Marines aren't really limited to bolters, but extra AP is extra AP. In the age of Armour of Contempt, it's always nice to have more AP. I still think I'll be running it, but it's a reason you might not want to now, because the big winners here are the Blight Lords, and again, they don't necessarily need to use a bolter. You could take a combi bolter or a Blight Launcher or something, which has got some AP and isn't necessarily benefiting from going from 0 to 1. But either way, Ferret Blight. While an enemy unit is within contagion range, each time an attack is made by a friendly Inexorable model, improve the AP by 1. So you essentially turn off your opponent's Armor of Contempt if you're in range, or you get additional AP if they're not Armor of Contempt, which is very nice in an age of Armor of Contempt, in my opinion. But the Ferret Blight is less of a reason to take Inexorable now, I'd say, given your Plague Marines are better. However, the relic here, Leechball casket, I think is still hands down one of the strongest relics you can take in the entire codex. Can go on an Inexorable model only. It's a great pick on your Warlord, who is almost certainly a beat stick. Each time an enemy model is destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by the bearer, select one friendly Inexorable vehicle within 18-inch, which, let's be fair, an 18-inch radius is most of the board. You're not going to struggle to have a vehicle nearby, but you select one Inexorable vehicle within 18-inch, that model regains 1 lost wound, no more than 3 wounds, can be returned per turn due to this relic. Do bear in mind, a turn occurs twice per battle round. The battle round is I take a turn, you take a turn. So if I don't finish the unit off in my turn, and then it's your turn, and I kill some more, I can heal my thing again, whatever it might be, drone, blight hauler, playburst crawler. So you can heal 6 wounds per battle round as far as I'm concerned. Feel free to dispute that if you'd like, but the terminology used there is turn, not battle round, and there are 2 turns per battle round. So fantastic in and of itself. There are ways you can heal vehicles outside of this through stratagems, but I think that's a reason to do this as well, so that you can just massively heal vehicles. And of course, vehicles in the Death Guard army, they're always going to be a unit your opponent wants to deal with because they are dangerous at range. The rest of the army pretty much needs to slog up the board and get there to the fighting. The vehicles can do damage from range the whole game. So your opponent's going to want to remove them early. They are very tough and durable. So if they aren't killed, this is a means to bring them back up and completely, or at least mitigate the effort your opponent has gone to try and remove them, which can be a massive impact for your opponent. I hope you're enjoying the series, whether you watch the original one or not. Again, the comments, the likes, the subs on that still mean a lot to me. If you'd be happy to do so again on this video, that would mean even more as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I would see you next time in the Underhive.